I am not a financial advisor. These videos are all meant for educational purposes only. All complete Trader Academy videos are my personal opinion and perspective. Trading carries a high level of risk, and all results are your own responsibility. Please always demo first. Hey everybody, welcome back to CTA Review. Today is November 8th, Friday, 2024. Hope you had a good day and a good week here. So as we expected, we're pretty much going to have a dud day. It was probably going to be a speaker forming. When you get to this type of all-time highs, yesterday, if you watched the video, here I'm going to play it so you can actually hear this. I have to home in on that, and back test, you know. So I'm assuming some type of speakering forming here, speakering form right here. Well, actually, let me let it play. Maybe push up or speakering and then rate and come back down for the retrace. Those are the only the options that I. Okay, so pretty much that's kind of what we got. And understanding, maybe someone asked me, how do you know that? Well, back testing, experience. There's no other way, but I'm probably pretty sure I don't have to draw this out, but I'll do it just to give you kind of like a framework and so you can understand kind of like what we're talking about here. And this is common when you get to all-time high as well. You see that? So higher highs here, lower lows here. When we made the lower lows, I'm gonna leave this for a second, but when we made the lower lows here and we came back, we made all-time highs. You see we rated here at 12:30 midnight, right? We rated and then we just kind of sank down. Why? Well, because you're trapping traders, number one. Number two, you also have all these late buyers. So, and what's the framework here? Well, when is the price going to stop? If you're asking, if you need an edge or you're trying to understand what's happening in the market, generally speaking, we'll look for it to come back into an imbalance. Well, on the 15-minute, you won't see that. So that's too refined. If you go, let's just go straight to the hour. This is how I saw it. Then perfect. Because when you have an imbalance, you also have liquidity there. So that low right there creates that imbalance, but that's also liquidity. So that's the reason why the algorithm is always searching for imbalances and liquidity, because they go sort of speak hand in hand. This would be in a nice refined situation. Now, if you went to like the 4 hour, yeah, let me zoom in on the 4 hour real quick here. So for example, yes, you're in that 4 hour. Let's highlight that for 1 second. Let me just highlight this so you can see that. Geez, let me just change the color. So I don't go crazy here. Okay, so if you take a look here and I drag it out, okay. Yeah, the 4 hours helpful. And where's 50%? If you look, I'm on a 5-minute here. So if you look here, you can see that we're there. Yeah, we dipped down. If you made this into quad levels, because this is a grid and it's mathematics and it's running off of 25%, 50%, 75%, 100% deviations, whatever, right? But in general speaking, you'll see would come down to the bottom 25%. If I quad this here, then you'll see this at 50, this 50% of the bottom 50%, that's the last 25%. You can see we're hitting that. But it's a little bit too much noise. And yes, the price is sort of hanging around there. But for you to fine tune that, then just go a time frame lower. And that's what I'm talking about with the hour. So, and if you try to go to the 30-minute, you wouldn't see it either. The 15-minute, you don't see it either. So this is kind of like how you get into that situation. An hour is pretty good. 15 is generally good too, but there's a lot of back and forth. But anyways, well, that's the price, and that's where you see it stopping. So now we're here, right? And then if I'm going to transfer to the 5-minute real quick, again, what are they doing there? They're just building sentiment. They're trying. I mean, to be honest with you, yesterday I had people I haven't talked to in so long call me. And they're not even traders or anything. And they're like, hey, yo, what's going on with the market? I'm going to buy. And I'm like, oh, you're going to do what? You want to buy at all-time highs. Okay, so that means soon I should be selling maybe. I don't know. I'm just talking shit. But same logic is that, this is kind of like what they understand that. It's all psychology, right? So anyways, pulling back is getting these late traders. Why do we say getting the late traders? Well, Because if we understand that the all-time high is there, then when you're up here, you're like, well, yeah, we're going up, and it's like anybody could have bought here. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to have bought here, right? So that's the reason for this pullback. But at the same speaking, a shakeout is generally what you're going to see, and sure enough, this is what I meant in the video, right? So anyways, we pushed all the way down. Let me delete this. So we pushed all the way down, right? We pushed all the way down, and then here you get these last two down candles. This is just a 5-minute real quick, and then we push up. Now I got the range here. What's the range? Well, because it's all-time highs is difficult, but here we did get a raid here above, and then we did come down below. So this is internal and external liquidity, and that's the range when you're pulling up. And I made the video a couple days ago to write your notes, but generally speaking, when you see this range, and we are bullish, so coming all the way back down here, like I was saying, I don't expect that to be happening today, and I don't expect that to happening in this type of delivery. I mean, generally speaking, I would like to see it probably go up a little bit higher to then roll over and retrace, right? It's just a common idea. But here, when you have this range, when you're pulling up and you're bullish, well, we're looking for a bullish day. I mean, we already came down this low in a discount. So if I look at this high and this low, here's 50%. So anything below 50% is a discount. And if you do it, even if you go one more step, measure lower, the 25% to the 0% would be a extreme discount, right? Because this is what's offered. We don't know what they're going to offer us, right? So by just shooting all the way up here, as you see, there's no lows getting taken out. This is how they don't let you get into the price action here, right? So if we're dealing with this high and this low, anything below this 25% is an extreme discount, which anything below the 50% is a discount, right? And then here's the midnight level here with the opening day gap. So it happens to be, you can't see it because it's in the same fucking spot, but let me zoom in. Can you see the line in the middle? See the line right there? See this line right here? That line right there? So that's the midnight level, right? So it's literally 50% of the opening day gap. So that's a high confluence area, and it's not a coincidence that we're still by it. And we've hit that. If you've seen today, I'm all over the place a little bit, but just give me a second. As you see, we're bouncing on it, and then we break through, right? So what do we got here? We got to break up that low. We pop in. Right there. They try to mitigate that for anybody was buying, right? Boom. And then they shoot down, right? So automatically when I wake up, I'm like, yeah, that's a target. Not only is that a target, but it's like, it's obvious. But then when you see the midnight level inside the opening day gap, I mean, I know that's a magnet. Like that's just a hole, right? So anyways, prices back to here. Sorry, I know I'm all over the place. This imbalance right here. So we tag in it right there with these two down candles. So boom, pushing up, and it's below the 25%. So this is the best entry for this range if we're bullish. All right, then we push up here. We get to 50%, right? 50% right here. And we have that imbalance right here on a 1 minute. This is a 1 minute imbalance. I have it, but I can make it it's fine. I can make it a 5 minute. So now, as you see here, we're tagging it, right? And then we retrace back. Where do we retrace back to? Well, we retrace back to, look at the 25%. We're hitting that back again, right? So that is like, plus they have that little liquidity right there. These are the people who bought, who are, let's just say, not late traders, but I mean, in this case, they waited for it to come up, come back down for support, where I can now move this candle here. Not this candle, this here. And you can see it. Hold on a second. All right, you can see, we're pretty much bouncing there, and people are like, oh yeah, that's support, right? And then what do? They come back down to raid that, right? So generally speaking, you want to see a raid before it goes up. It's some type of raid. Now, it doesn't have to be, and they're just barely wicks, but and you see they raided it twice here. See that? So this raided here, and then this raids here. So this is showing you like, okay, hey, they don't want to come back here, right? They made sure to not let you in. But when we push off right here, again, we're bouncing on that 25%. When we push off here, okay, 930 is here, right? Well, but while we're pushing off here, see this candle right here? So it's pushed up. So people are like, yeah, momentum buyers pushing buy, right? So when we get to 930, 930 is here, and you're like, well, where's the price going to go? It's literally underneath 50%. You can see both sides of the market, the top, the bottom. He's like, what do you do? Well, this is why you shouldn't be trading the day to begin with, in general speaking, because not only is it Friday, but I was telling you yesterday I wasn't interested. Why was I not interested? Because there's so many ways that this can perform, right? But at the least I understood a speaker, because in my backtesting, in my experience, a speaker is very logical because of the fact that the sentiment is getting built and they're shaking out at the same time, and it's just they're greedy. I mean, there's no other way to put that. So when we're down here, I'm expecting the speaker. We have the low part of the speaker created, and at the end of the day, you most likely want to see it completed with the taking out the high right there, right? So and that's explaining the continuation of it. But we're also bullish. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just what it is. For you to try to catch this all the way back down today, it's just not logical. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but it's just, just doesn't make sense. But I still expect some type of, pullback. But anyways, let me move forward. So here the best entries and the best tools to use are going to be under the 25%, are going to be under the 50%. Right. So when we here at the 930, we push up here, immediately push off, open here, got into this. Where am I tagging this to? Well, as you see, if you look at the 15-minute, just for an example, you see here this big bearish candle, right? When this and guess where this bearish candle got formed? It's literally on the previous all-time high. It literally opened and shut down right there, which would be this area right here. See this? See this? Well, where is it? Well, what is this candle? The 445. Yeah. I'm tripping. Well, this is a 5-minute. That's why I'm using a 1-minute. Right here. Oh, shit. Right here. See that? This candle right here. So anyways, when it pushes down right here, you can see it's just completely wide open, right? So we're coming up, and what are we doing? We're tagging it. We're just tagging any momentum. Because when the price is coming down here, okay, for example, if I transfer to this 5-minute, when this price is coming down here, right here, look where when we break that low and we bust through. So that guy right here, they're pretty much the guy who pushed sell right here, and all the people who got momentum here. Why do you think we come right up to it? Right? We're trying to get to that, right? We're trying to squeeze that out. Now, guess what? What do? Dirty day. We're tagging that opening day gap. Look, we're there right now. So you see what I'm saying? So it's a magnet. It's they have all intention today of staying around this level, right? And here's the proof. I mean, it's fucking 407 now, and while I'm talking, they're touching it. This is not buyers and sellers doing that. They can't. Impossible. So on a 1 minute, you'll see it like literally tag it and just like freeze for a second, right? But anyway, so then we get the retracement back here, and this is dirty. We get this low, we reject it again, we come lower again. They don't take this low, so this is just a higher low, but it's dirty. It's a dirty higher low. That's what I like to call it. But while we're coming up, let's just do it like this too. I'm seeing it like this, right? I'm seeing it like this. Now, yes, I would have liked for it to stop here and then just keep going, obviously, right? But when we make this low here and we come back up, when we come back up, we don't take out this high where we at here. We don't take this high. So possible for another leg down. So it's lower low, lower high in the leg down, right? And then that becomes the higher low. So then when we get, what do we do here? Well, we come up, we retrace back, and then we push back up here. Higher high, right? And then we retrace back where? Higher low. I'm surprised it didn't take this low out, but it's probably where we're headed. But okay, higher low. And what do you have here? 25%. The 25%. Oh shit. And then, well, let's just pretend that's the higher low. I'm gonna fix it. And then what do we got? That's the higher high. All right, higher high, and then back to a higher low. Let me just stop right here, fix this. All right, so very ugly, obviously, but that's what's happening here. So, and if we take a look to the left of this range that we're in, we're popping up, we retrace back. Best entry is below the 25%. Then we come back, we come above, and we come back below the 50%. So look to the right here. What's underneath the 50%? We have this bearish imbalance. I want to see that hold eventually as support. I have, let me delete this. I have this imbalance right here. I have this last down candle. I'm just using this time frame right now. All right. And if you take a look, where is all this price action located? Underneath the 50%. Right. So you're going to be like, well, this is underneath the 50%. Why don't we use that? Well, because from what we just explained, how dirty it is, right? But and then you can see this 5-minute inversion right here, which is this 10:05 right here. So you see we pop above, and our bodies are kind of like staying by it. It's not that great, but let me see here. Yeah, I'm not even gonna go there. But on a 1 minute. I'll get a little more detailed here. God, there's just so much to always talk about. What's it called? So, we pushed up at 9:30, we got stuck here, and then we had that first imbalance right here. That's that 9:32, right? So that's already dragged out. This is what was also showing me that we were not able to break above. So you get these not three drives. I don't want to call it that, but you can see here the pull up here, and then we're stuck at that midnight and opening day gap, and then we also have an overbought here, right? So retracing back down is logical, and it's shaking out. So look at the 9:30 doesn't even have a wick, and neither does that candle right there. It is 9:25, and then these gaps right here. See these gaps right here? It's not what I want to see if I'm bullish at 9:30. That's for sure. But what does it do? So they come down, they come back up. Look how we struggle at that green imbalance right there. So that was telling you the story of, yo, we're not gonna keep going up. So what do? They shoot down immediately. They bust through this bullish imbalance. I'm gonna delete that. Let me have it back. I was doing that just to show that, hey, we're coming back, we're tagging it. Then we come up, and then guess what? This candle over here, this 10:04, blows right through. So you saw that, right? But anyways, what do? We come back down 3 drives, right? Sort of speak. And then take a look at the gap right here. Like this little gap right here between 9:05 and 9:06. Look to the right. You see how we're tagging that? That's not random. It's like, well, then you're going to say, well, what about that gap? And it's like, well, listen, bro, nothing's perfect. All right. We're in this vicinity of price action, but this is how they did it. I'm just explaining it, But anyways, once we're down here, remember that structure, that's the higher low, that's a higher high, and you're like, oh, well, we're going to rush liquidity. Well, they've already kind of tagged it. So, and we are bullish. So this becomes a very deep higher low. Is it a higher low though? It's a higher low. Fuck a fib. Is it a higher low naked with a naked eye? Yes, it is. So, it is what it is, right? But then what do? Well, we push up here, and then we have this imbalance right here, this 1016, right? This 1016 with this last down candle. So you want to see this hold as support, and it does. But again, what do? They pop down for 3 drives here, pretty ugly. And at this point, you're like, oh, it's selling. Whoop, right? So very dirty, right? But take a look. Look at that gap right here between 1015 and 1016. See that? Look at that. Look how we're tapping right in there. That's not random either. And that's not what I want to see when I'm bullish either. But it is what it is. But it stops in its tracks here. So, and then now you get to see that 5-minute. This was a 5-minute bearish inversion. And you start to see it hold. You start to see it hold. So we push up, and then we go above it. And then we come up above it, and we hold as support, especially at 1109. I mean, to the tick, and that's kind of like the flow. But when you're here, you understand. If you understood the framework of the structure, then you're just looking for this to make a new higher high, which is above that high, right? Forget everything to the left, just this high right here specifically. So, and then eventually, and I left this on purpose so I could do this. So then you'll see that big stupid 1004. That was going to be the trick. Are we going to make it above it? So we do. We make above it here. We come below it, yeah, but then we got that last 25%. Then we make it above it again here. That's that leg, higher low, higher high. What do you expect here? It's a high resistance day. That means when we take out liquidity, the price comes right back in, and that's not what you want to trade. But if you do, this is what it looks like in the fuckery, right? So we make a higher high here, and then we retrace back. Where do we retrace back to? Well, we got that bottom 25%, and we have the 50% of this bearish imbalance right here, right? It's not pretty, but it does hold, right? Let me delete this. It's hurting my eyes, but what's it called? I'm gonna delete this too. Well, before I do, the framework here is also, you're like, well, explain this a little bit. Well, it's so this is either going to continue to sell from here, from this, and be bearish, or we're going to go above it and be bullish. And you're going to say, well, we came down here. Look at this. All right, you're going to say, well, we came down here and we tagged it beautifully, right? I think it was even nicer on a 5-minute, wasn't it? No, I'm not even going to go there. And this is how I make long videos, dude. And it stayed above here, right? And that was dirty, right? But hey, it can color outside the lines on the higher time frame. But the logic is that, are we going to eventually stay above this? I'm going to delete this now, and then just kind of like drag this out. And then it's kind of like, okay, cool. We are above it, right? So that's the framework. And you can see this before even the day starts. Not the whole day, but I'm saying the 9:30 open. I mean, you can see that very clear, right? Like, and you expect to see where you're going to have support. But at the end of the day, take a look at the range. Let me go back to a 5-minute, man. At the end of the day, you see this range here. There's one thing I want to mention. This range here, we're below 50% here. So anything below that is a good, decent buy. Now, let me move this over and then just do this real quick so you can see the framework here. So when we're coming up here, right, you do this framework. Whoops. And so you see here, in this range here, from this low to this high, you retrace back where? To a 50%. The 50% is matching the 25%. We're on our way up. All right, so that's one range. The next also understanding is that this is also a range too, because this price action is still inside this range. So if you measured from here to here, what do? We dip below 50%. Look how when they made that shady low, look where it came to. Came right to a 50%, right? So they're constantly trying to give fair value as well. And then what do? We go below it, right? So in this range here, technically the best trades would be at this level or lower, right? So, let me delete that. And then, hold on a second. So we understood, if I go back to a 1 minute, if you remember where the trade was, it's from that high and that higher low, and then we made that higher high, right? So if I take this, let's just do it right here. When I'm up here, logically coming back down here it makes sense, right? And this is just all one leg, right? So, but on the way up, we're using this right here. So again, in soon videos, I'm going to talk more about setups. I mean, I thought I am doing that. Maybe I'm not doing a good job. I don't think I'm the best teacher at all. You know what I mean? I really don't. Yeah. But what was I going to say here? It's long, dude. Fuck. There was only 8 of you that watched it yesterday. So that's not really encouraging me, man. And I'm doing, anyways. So here, real quick, you get the lower low here with Nasdaq. You get a lower low with Nasdaq, and you have higher highs here. Higher lows here. So this is also what was framing the bullish mindset from the beginning. You're like, well, I wish you would have said that from the beginning. Well, I'm sure you can see this already. But anyways, that was also me keeping up with the bullish idea, like long term, well, short term for today, intraday. So, anyways, we get pushed up here, and then we have that high. Remember when I was mentioning about us struggling here? Where was your other confluence, dude? You had a freaking beautiful divergence right here, and you had higher highs here, right? So that being the case, this was the nice drop, and they were holding Nasdaq. It's a holding pattern. Everyone else is in order flow, but with us, everybody and their mama's trying to trade Nas. You know, that's why they're holding the price, and it still ended up breaking out later, right? But that was the nice push down, right? And then when we were here, we had lower lows here. Okay, well, before I even get to that, up here we had higher highs here. We had higher highs. So this lower high here, this lower high, that was the more of the longer term or higher time frame divergence. And then here you had why did I put that? This is on the wrong one. I didn't mean to even do that. Then you had lower. Then you had here. That's what I really meant to do. Then you had lower highs here, right? So lower highs here so this is the confirmation of this. Anyways, man, then you come down here, you got lower lows here, you got and then you got higher lows here for S&P and Dow, and that sure enough makes it a confirmation of us not breaking down that low, and this is a nice buy, right? Pretty much. Taking this sell down here, beautiful. You get a higher low by a tick here. I'm sorry, I said lower high by a tick here, and you have higher highs here with S&P and Dow, and that kind of brought us to this area. Now, who wins now? Like, what are we gonna go from here, right? Dollar real quick. Well, I just really think it's still bullish. Especially on the weekly. Take a look at the weekly here. I'm bringing up the weekly, and you got all that. Look at that liquidity. Oh God, look at that, smooth. They already came down here and wiped out that. So this is just looking really too easy, and that might keep us down. So if you take a look at Dow here, we are at all-time highs, obviously, like everyone else, but at the same time, we're on an overbought here, where we're approaching the daily overbought. So I'm expecting, it's just going to be kind of ugly price action, maybe like this before it rolls over and then retraces back into this level here, which is the previous month. That's Dow. S&P, very similar story, obviously. And I still have this here, but if you can see here, when we retrace back, that 23 held that support. What does that mean? Well, that means it's bullish. When you get a 23 on a fib, dude, that's like super bullish. So go back test that, but that's kind of like what was going on here. So I'm gonna delete that now. Okay, and we're hugging that level again. So, yeah. Again, not too interested, but for you today in a day like this, understanding everything we just discussed, if you bought here, take the profit. You don't need to break the high. You can get to a confluence level here and be done with that level. And fuck, I didn't even say that. It was, and what's behind that is the top 25% of the opening range gap. Bruh. You got 3 levels on top of each other, dude. That's like, you could build trades around that all day. But, and let's just say you caught this sell. Take the profit. Once you get to here, take it. You know what I mean? Like, take it. When you get the buy here, you take the buy, take it right back to this first balance. Period. All right. Take the sell. Where you take the sell? You can take it into this wick. You can take it below the wick. That's it. You holding for this? You asked out. Right. Take the buy here. Where you gonna take this buy? Up into this imbalance right here, or 50%. Look how it tags at 50% level here. So you pick your own model. You pick your framework. But the logic for me, and I'll close with this. This is really how I looked at it. To be real, I don't know if I said this earlier in the video, but when we were coming down, yeah, I did say this. We came down to wipe out the liquidity to the left, and who just made money? Look at all these people. This is just like falling. You could have closed your eyes and pushed sell. So they come up to wipe out the sellers, and then when we're up here and we freeze, guess what? Well, we got some buyers here. So they come down to wipe the buyers. And when we're here, what do? We come up to wipe the fucking sellers. So, and you're like, dude, what are you, Captain fucking Obvious? I know, I get that. I get that. You know, you can also look at it like this. Okay? So, that's that leg. And now we're in this range. We're technically in this range. General speaking. Because now we went from internal liquidity to external, which is a higher low to a higher high. And then we came back in. So does this do this to come underneath the 50? Or does it stay strong here and push up? Or does it just fucking completely break its bed? So when we get a consolidation, we do expect a retracement. So is that the retracement, or is this a consolidation to then, you know, to keep fucking around a little bit and then retrace lower? Or is this a consolidation where we turn into an expansion? Right? And so having understanding the options is really your best weapon too, right? But you know, creating your framework or your model, there's just so many in it. I've just mentioned so many, but damn, did it again. Nvidia, same story. When we popped up above this high right here, see, when we pop up right here and then we retrace back because of all these late buyers. Well, I'm kind of looking for the same thing here. So we pushed up here, we broke through this high right here. We broke through this high, all-time high when it was here, and we bounced a little bit and then we pushed up. So now I would like to see another kind of like pull back here, and then we'll figure out what we do, maybe into this imbalance right here. Do I need to even draw it? No, right there. All right, so I would like to see it kind of like retrace back a little bit, because if everybody and their mom's calling me about buying here, it's like, well, maybe they'll entice them a little bit just to keep them happy, just to, oh yeah, we're doing good, and then won't come right back. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. So we'll see how it turns out. You guys have a good weekend, and God bless.